How's everyone feeling? Day 3. You still excited? On a personal level, I just want to say how meaningful that last panel was for me. I started my career 21 years ago at Citigroup. And like many people starting their careers on Wall Street that look like me, you come in, you start your career, and the first thing you think about is, can I be successful here? And we all know what those measurements are. When you look around, is there anyone that looks like you that has had that success? If you can't see it, you can't be it. And for me, in my beginning of my career, 21 years ago, I saw Ray McGuire. And that was the epitome of what success could look like for a black man on Wall Street. And to see where his career has continued to grow and to expand has just been amazing for me. So I'm just humbled just to be following him on this stage to share some comments with you all today. So, Chief Diversity Officer at Morgan Stanley. I also lead our inclusive finance practice called our Institute for Inclusion, which I'll tell you a little bit about. And on a personal note, I'm a father to 2 young black girls. I'm a husband. I'm a first-generation American, first in my family to go to a 4-year college, first in my family to work in a corporate setting, and maybe that resonates with some of you in the audience. So this work that Operation Hope does is truly meaningful for me, not just in my practice at my job at Morgan Stanley, but me as a human being. And I hope you all can share that sentiment with me. So that's why we are proud at Morgan Stanley to be here today. And this is our inaugural year of sponsorship of the Global Hope Forums, because our mission and our values are aligned with Operation Hope. We have a number of core values at Morgan Stanley. One is committing to diversity inclusion, and by the way, in this environment, the time that we're living in now, it's important to say that that commitment is real and continue to affirm that commitment. That's one of our values. Giving back is another value, and we talked about the beloved community. Doing the right thing, moral and ethical competency. Putting clients first. We're a clients-driven business like many of those that are represented in the audience today. And leading with exceptional ideas. Those are our core values. And you put those all together, and that's exactly the values and the mission that Operation Hope seeks to provide in this community across the United States and globally. So we're thrilled again for that partnership for those very reasons, because there's so much alignment. Now, I could talk to you a little bit about the facts, the data, the transactional elements of what we do at Morgan Stanley from a diversity inclusion perspective, but rather I'd like to talk about 3 people. When you think about the anti-DEI rhetoric that exists right now in this country, I know we have a global audience as well, and that rhetoric is pervasive, not just the United States, but it's going to other markets and other jurisdictions as well. When you think about that rhetoric, what you watch on the news, what you read in the papers, what you scroll through in your social media, it never goes back to the people that are impacted by the work. So here are 3 examples that I want to share. One, you have your mid-level, mid-career executive, your employee that's midway through their careers and they're maybe at a standstill. Maybe they're thinking about what is next. Can I get to that next level? Can I get promoted? Can I get further advancement? I don't know what to do at this point. Then you have a high school student. You can think about high school students that you know, maybe within your own families. I'm thinking about primarily a high school senior, a young black lady, grew up in northern Florida, had dreams and aspirations of matriculating to college, but there were setbacks. Raised by a single mother and her grandmother, household income of $15,000 a year, and despite those obstacles, still excelling in classroom, still excelling academically, but not just that, not just taking care of her family, but giving back to her community. And the third group, which we've talked about so far in these forums, is our budding entrepreneur. Think of maybe the founder of a tech-enabled startup or a small business owner. What are the impediments to their future success? In all 3 of these examples, It goes back to the theme of why we're here, the future. The work that we do, whether it's inclusive finance or the traditional diversity inclusion efforts, or what we're all doing collectively across our different communities, matters. It impacts lives. So to go back to that mid-level executive, that employee, we at Morgan Stanley, we thought we need to tackle this particular issue. The data tells us that we're increasing representation at the entry levels, but it's a pyramid. The further up you go, the further along you go in your career, it narrows out in terms of diversity. And we see that we're still dealing with that gap of diversity at the top of the house. So we redesigned our traditional learning development programs. We created signature development programs such as the Talent Accelerator through the Institute for Inclusion at Morgan Stanley, which seeks to represent and focus on a diverse group of employees that are trying to get to the next level. We identified where are those blockers, and we all know those blockers are, right? It's across industry. It could be your manager. It could be your access to opportunity. It could be your platform. It could be just your skills-based knowledge and development. There's an old adage, what got you here is not what's going to get you there. That's something that I was told earlier in my career. And the sentiment there is all the hard work that you put into interview prep, doing well in classes, resume building, networking, that might get you in the door. But that same technique is not what's going to get you to the next level. So executive coaching, both one-on-one and group coaching, access to your peers that are navigating the same environment, access to senior leaders that can advocate and make connections for you. And importantly, everything you do through the training development program, your manager is doing along with you. Because if your manager can't support you along that journey, you can't get anywhere you need to. So that's an example of that first persona. Let's go back to the young woman, the high school senior. And again, you can think about whatever your high school student in your mind is. The impediments to getting the education of your dreams. You could control things like your academics, but can you control how you're going to pay for school? With a $15,000 household income, paying for school is not possible. But it's not just paying for school. It's actually being able to navigate it, because we all know the experience. Maybe you were able to pay for that first semester, but you're building up anxiety and confusion about how you're going to pay for that next semester, or the one after that, or the one after that, or the one after that. So what we sought to do is focus on a scholarship program that alleviates that burden. We introduced a few years ago the Morgan Stanley Institute for Inclusion HBCU Scholars Program, which to date has provided 60 full academic 4-year scholarships to incoming first-year college students at participating HBCUs, including here locally, Spelman College and Morehouse College. But it's not just writing that check. It's more than that. We know access and opportunity to be able to thrive goes beyond just getting into a school and be able to pay and stay in school for 4 years or whatever it takes to graduate. But it's also having access and opportunity and knowledge base. So we've complemented the scholarship portion with a board of advisors. Each scholar gets 3 board of advisors to their personal board, Morgan Stanley employees, a senior sponsor, a mentor, and someone that walked the halls of their particular college or university. Now I have 3 points of contact. And then much to the theme of what we've been talking about today is understanding the future and the needs that you can build up and train and educate yourself on. We've complemented that with an education curriculum on subjects that we think these scholars need to know as they build out their future. Introduction to career preparedness. Introduction to Gen AI. Introduction to understanding mental well-being, mental health, something that we historically have not talked about enough in our communities. And we supplement that through this group. And then with our entrepreneurs, we have our Inclusive Ventures Lab and our Small Business Academy, which helps entrepreneurs, founders of tech-enabled startups, small business owners to scale, to get access to thought leadership, access to mentorship, and importantly, access to capital, access to investors, which is all within our network, to be able to get to that next level. So as I close out here, when we talk about the future is important. The future does not just happen for individuals, it happens with a collective group, a collaborative, such as this community, to build out that future potential in all of our people, including the 3 that I just mentioned. So thank you again for having me with you all today. Thrilled to be here representing Morgan Stanley as a sponsor, and we look forward to further engagement. Thank you all.